from Newsweek. California gets 150,000 new citizens. And I guess this is them trying to make sure that, of course, while illegals are coming through the border at record levels and assaulting people and eliminating Americans and collecting food stamps and cell phones and hotel rooms, that there's also some people who are doing it legally. And they're citizens now, and they're going to vote, and they're Americans. And I guess they're going to vote for Beau Biden. Why would they do that when they can see all of the freebies handed to the illegals, and then they're going to do it the right way and say, it doesn't make any sense, quite obviously. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because the algorithm is a monster, and it would cost you nothing, but it would help me a lot. And if you wanted to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, of course, you can go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But they say California saw 154,900 new citizens become naturalized in fiscal year 2023, bringing the state's total of naturalized citizens to more than 500,000 over the past 3 years. And I don't know why they would even want to highlight this, right? It's only going to beg the question of, we've all asked this hundreds of times. Quite literally, does anybody show up to the country legally? And if they do, why? Because you've got all the advantages if you do it illegally. And this is going to raise so many questions about the collapsing system and why you want to even leave the border not open, but if you want to have actual border patrol and take tests and spend money and wait for weeks or months or years or whatever, why would you do that, right? And when you do that, you are still calling attention to the much larger portion of illegal immigrants. And why? Just to torture people, just to bludgeon you over the head, just to let you know that everybody is more important than Americans? An approximate total of 878,500 individuals became citizens this past fiscal year, with naturalization ceremonies in fiscal years 2022 and 2023 composing 24% of all naturalizations over the past decade, according to data from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And obviously, you have to take this all with a grain of salt, because there's no way to fact check these people. They're just going to spew nonsense at you and force you to believe it, like the Sun Monster. And look at this video here. California sees more Haitian migrants cross the border than Florida. I wonder why. And do you think that's a good thing? Different story. They can all vote for president for the first time this November. And experts told Newsweek, all the experts. I'm an expert. What expert on what? Right? The expert on criminal illegal migration, the expert on legal migration. Who are the experts? There's an expert for everything, right? But not medical experts, right? There's LGBTQ experts, but there's not one expert in the room who's going to say maybe you shouldn't mutilate that child. But that, of course, is a completely different story. But the experts told Newsweek that what these numbers mean for the state and the nation overall. California was the only state to surpass 6 digits in terms of new naturalized citizens, far outpacing Texas at 99,000, Florida 94, New York 92, and New Jersey at 39. And we all know by now, go ahead and check out some of my older videos, that, California is inflation on steroids. It is ridiculous. From the cost of a house, the cost of gasoline, obviously, electricity, restaurants, internet, everything is through the roof except for weed. That's down. I wonder why. And they have the most illegals. They have more Haitians than even in Florida. How did that happen? Why did that happen? And they also want to make sure that it's illegal to ban voter ID. And it's also illegal to donate to a recall campaign of a completely corrupt mayor. But I'm getting triggered and I digress. The top 10 cities or boroughs that experienced the highest uptick in naturalized citizens were Brooklyn, Miami, Houston, the Bronx, and Los Angeles. Individuals from Mexico became citizens at the largest rates, accounting for 500,000 people. India came in second at 59,100 individuals, followed by the Philippines at 44,800, Dominican Republic 35, and Cuba 33. I'm not even quite sure how they're getting that done. I don't know. I'm not the expert on geopolitics.
I am not the expert on geopolitics on this.
Stephen Goggin, oh, I've heard of this guy before. Assistant political science professor at San Diego State University, told Newsweek via phone that immigration in the state draws less attention than it might in other states due to residents' familiarity with the southern border and the issue of people settling in California being always silent. Okay? So, yeah, we're used to it by now. So it doesn't matter, right? We're used to all the illegals. We're constantly conflating illegal and legal immigration, and I was quite genuinely curious as to if anybody were doing it by the book. But Newsweek wants you to know that there are some people, stupider than Americans, presumably, who are migrating to the country legally while letting the entire rest of the third world cut them in line and hop over the fence and swim through the river, or whatever the hell they have going. Democrats and Republicans take their partisan cues on the issue, he added, and even those liberals who may disagree with President Joe Biden on his administration's handling of the U.S.-Mexico border may be hesitant to criticize to avoid regurgitating talking points. Oh, well, that's interesting. So they can see that it's all wrong. They can see that it's all broken, but they have been bullied into submission, and anything seen as mildly critical of a completely corrupt empty suit puppet would be considered a Republican talking point, and we can't have that. I mean, this is just so bizarre to me, right? This is maybe, 8th grade, high school level. Oh no, you don't want to be that. Like it's like almost like you have cooties or something. Like you don't want to be caught regurgitating a right-wing talking point because what? Because the talking heads are going to make fun of you and say that white rule rage is the problem? I mean, what is it? Oh, because Ebro and Bakari Sellers, because they're so diluted and so demented and either stupid or evil that they're going to be mad at you? What does that matter? Part of the reason is that many parts of the nation are just in recent years experiencing a large rise in immigration. Oh, you mean criminal migrants destroying things, stealing and beating up Americans and beating up cops? Yeah, it's just a rise in immigration. Oh, my gee. Whereas in California, it has been a huge part of the state's history. Throughout its history and a huge part of the politics, it has been an issue since the 1990s. University of California, San Diego political science professor Thad Kauser told Newsweek via phone. Cost of living remains the biggest issue for many Californians due to their familiarity with immigration-related issues. He added, which plays a role as a driver in the marginal increase of domestic migration. Issues like housing also play a role. The marginal increase of domestic migration. Oh, you mean the people that are fleeing California and fleeing New York? Oh, it's just marginal. It's just marginal. I mean, it's not like we're replacing them with newcomers, with asylum seekers. This is crazy. And for the record, it was a couple, 6 weeks ago in March of 2024 or something, late March, early April, when Newsweek had been spotted writing articles that actually made sense and seemed to be truthful like twice. And I was genuinely surprised by that. But of course, it has gone all out the window, and they're not gonna do that anymore. I can almost be certain. Each party is emphasizing policies on immigration, right? I mean, it's not about immigration. It's about criminal illegals running roughshod over Americans, right? And there's no more political discussions to be had, right? I mean, when you get to the point where you're mutilating children and pretending that you're the other gender, there is no more political discussion. There's quite literally just brain rot. And it has become, as we've said a million times, everybody can tell that it is only a debate between the rational and the completely insane and controlled, like borderline demonic individuals. And that's me being nice. Each party is emphasizing policies on immigration, Kauser said. They're just moving erratically different directions. We live in these two different worlds, in politics and policy. In California, on either side of the political divide, one party sees a crisis at the border. Only one. No, they see it too, but they like it. They caused it. They want it. They both see it, but they see it in different ways. You can't say, oh, one party just doesn't see it. They quite literally helped create it on purpose. They see it, but it's not a problem for them. California's migration flows. The 154,900 new Californians represent a smaller number of naturalized citizens compared to previous years. In fiscal years 2021 and 2022, the state welcomed 172,000 and 182,000 individuals, respectively, bringing the 3-year total to 508,900. In 2022, a total of 726,000 naturalized citizens, some 75% of the total across the country, resided in 10 states, according to data from the Department of Homeland Security, who, of course, is completely compromised as well. California's naturalization rate that year represented about 19% of the U.S. total. But what's the percentage of naturalized citizens that showed up legally versus all of the illegals that you probably couldn't even be bothered to even attempt to count? As of January 2024, the state is home to 10.4 million legal immigrants. This is the first time in many months that they've even mentioned the word legal or illegal, because this is an article about real immigration, which is to let you know that while we're constantly talking about the literal criminal invasion, that there's some people still doing it legally. Representing about 23% of the national foreign-born population, according to the Public Policy Institute of California. The California Budget and Policy Center has pegged that number even higher at more than 11 million migrants in 2023, making up 28% of the state's population. A total of 6.1 immigrants were employed in California from 2021 to 2023, according to the center, translating to about 1 in 3 total statewide workers. The most recent PPIC data from 2022 found that 27% of the state's population is foreign-born, the highest of any state and more than double the percentage of the rest of the states, 12%, and 46% of California children have at least one immigrant parent, and they absolutely love this. The Golden State continues to see a population boom as it simultaneously attempts to thwart rising levels of illegal immigration. Okay, whatever. Earlier this month, the Biden administration announced that California would receive $45 million to be allocated towards migrant-related programs. Oh, well, that's a scam. Migrant-related programs? All right, bro, look. This is ridiculous. California Governor Greaseball Scumbag Bang Your Wife Gavin Newsom has rejected the notion that sanctuary city status is to blame for the rising numbers. Look, it doesn't even... This is absolutely crazy. I mean, once again, they're trying to gaslight you. They're going to tell you travel tourism dollars are through the roof and the economy is doing good and we've got all these new citizens and it's all good. So just ignore all of the other stuff because those are right-wing talking points and you wouldn't want to be a conspiracy theorist. But I am hopeful. I remain positive that even in California, people are starting to see through this nonsense.